So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Generate Consistent Listings in the Low Inventory Market. My name is Fred Said. Before we get started on the content, I'm kind of lay the ground rules today. It's kind of a special training today. So this training originally came about because I wanted to train colleagues of mine or people that I train in Southern California, which is my market in LA and OC, which is what I went ahead and did. And I talked to Jolene and Place, and I said, you know what? If you can, throw me on the calendar for Place as well, Place Nation, and let's train them as well, because I think this would be very good content for any agent in the nation. So today we have people that are in Southern California from all different brokerages, and we have people a part of Place as well. So this content is good for anybody that's going to be on this call. I ask you please to double check your Zoom right now. If you can please mute yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through probably somewhere between 25 and 40 minutes of content. There's a ton of stuff we're going to go over today. Yes, it's going to be recorded. Yes, I'm going to be able to get you these slides as well for your future reference. So if you'd like to take notes, that's awesome. If you don't have to. And then leave all of your questions, please, for the very end. So if you have a burning question that pops up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever it is, save them for the very end, please. And then we're going to have plenty of time for open Q&A. So let's go ahead and get started. Once again, if you guys can mute. I have Lindsay in the background who's monitoring, letting people in right now, and also going to mute you if we need to, if something happens on accident. So let's go ahead and get started. Once again, the training today, the content is really around getting listings, consistent listings in the low inventory market. Here's a note that I wrote myself that I thought was important for us to understand. Anyone can take a listing. Any one of you can take a listing in any market. Yet taking consistent listings takes skills and systems. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So for those of you that have never had the honor of training or talking to, my name is Fred Said. I run a real estate team here in Southern California. We operate in Orange County, California, and Los Angeles County. We actually operate in 4 different Keller Williams market centers. My team over the past 12 months did over 180 transactions, over 110 million in volume, and just over 2.4 million in GCI. I'm an active producer myself. I consistently sell about 36 homes a year. Of those 36 homes personally, 24 are listings. And I've been doing that. This will be my 4th consecutive year in a row that I've done those exact numbers. And I run an awesome team of 25 people who are with Keller Williams, and we're powered by Place. So if I can ever assist you, I've been a trainer for over 5 years with Keller Williams, and in Place, I've trained thousands of people. This is truly a passion of mine, as I hope you can tell today. And I want you to get nothing but value from what we're going to talk about. And this is going to be a very powerful topic that we're going to get into. My cell phone is there. My email is there. Follow me on social media. And I'm never too busy to help a colleague out. So main ideas, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. The mindset needed in today's market, which I know we're in a shifting market. We all know that. So I'm going to hit hard on that today. Why you need a listing goal for yourself in your own book of business. What are the effective lead pillars that are working for my team and other agents and team that I've coached or trained in the past 6 months in our shifting market? The power of a CMA call when it comes to listings. I'll go deep into that. You know, why lead follow-up is critical, especially in today's shifting market, whether working sellers or we're working buyers. And then how technology can assist in taking listings. So let's go over mindset. Understand that today's market isn't permanent and is shifting. So I said this a year ago when I did some seller-based trainings when we had supreme low inventory, supreme high demand. People are like, I don't want to work with buyers. I got to get listings. I'm struggling. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to shift. It's not going to stay permanent. And what's happened in the past 90 days? The bulk of the nation is feeling the shift that we're in. Inventory is increasing. Demand is decreasing. Days on market are increasing. Hey, this market today does not look like what it looked like a year ago. The market today is not going to look the same as it will a year from now. So understand the mindset that any market is not permanent. The only thing that's guaranteed in our business is change. So surrender to that fact and get used to it. Feed your mind daily with the positive. I've talked about this for 5-6 years since I've been a trainer and coached mindset. It's never more important than it is today. The problem we have with our industry is, I don't know about you guys, but I've seen on every news outlet, every social media outlet, everything in the world, oh my gosh, the market is crashing, doom and gloom. Right? We've all seen it. Is that actually happening? No, it's just shifting. But if you're getting the negative feedback in one ear and you're not putting anything good in the other, man, your mind's going to be in the gutter. And then you'll have a negative compound effect that's not going to serve you and might actually kick you out of the business. So you have to feed your mind daily with the positive. What does that look like? 15 pages or 15 minutes of a positive audio per day, whether it's an awesome podcast, it's an audio book that you're listening to, something positive. And I would turn your car, like Jeff Olson said in FlightEdge, turn your car into a drive time university. Yeah, you can listen to music and have a good time. Turn your car into a drive time university. And then the 10 part is reading 10 pages of a good book per day. So audio and book daily, so you can combat the negativity that this world unfortunately gives us day to day. Role play daily scripts and presentations. I told a class or a brokerage I taught last week in person. I've been telling my team for a few weeks now, if not a few months, about this. The market that we were in, ladies and gentlemen, over the past few years, I think was pretty easy. You put a sign in the ground, the property sells. No skills are really required. To the market that we're in today, it's the complete opposite. You go to listing presentation or buyer consultation, you have to have skills to get it done. If you want to get property sold for top dollar as soon as possible, the seller needs to know that you have a proper strategy to get it done. And then affirmations are obviously important. Continue learning, books, podcasts, training events. Keep it consistent. Keep it consistent, right? And then this listing business is a sprint and marathon. This hasn't changed because the market has changed. What do I mean by sprint and marathon from a mindset standpoint? I want you to understand there's a different lead pillars we're going to talk about today and others that we're probably not. But there are different types of lead pillars that you can work from a seller standpoint that are sprints. So I can call an expired listing list this morning, a home that expired last night. I call this morning, I book a listing appointment for tonight, and I list it tonight. It goes in the market next week. That's a sprint to me. Another one is I'm circle prospecting or cold calling a neighborhood, which we'll talk about today. I generate a homeowner lead that wants to sell in a year, but they're not ready yet. And I have to nurture, 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 and then boom, I get the listing in 12 months. That's a marathon. So understand the listing business is a sprint and is a marathon. Now let's talk about goals and listing goals in general. I think this is the foundation of you understanding what the listing business is and how powerful it can be. A lot of agents, unfortunately, nationally and locally, nothing against you if you're a solo agent, but at the end of the day, if you're a solo agent and you're not a part of a team or a high-powered brokerage, they don't talk about this enough. They really don't. And then there's no plan to follow through with what it looks like if you even set the plan. So you want to have some sort of production and activity goal for the year. And it doesn't matter if it's May 18th today, and we're already 4.5 months in the year. No, it's okay. You can still set a goal today for the rest of the year. It's never too late to set a goal. Have a closed unit goal for the year, and then know what percentage of your goal you want to be listings based. So how many listings do I want to list and take and sell? How many buyers do I want to close? I've always been a fan of having a business that's 50% listing and 50% buyer. Obviously, we all want to take listings because we know listings as leverage. We know we make more money per hour with listings than we do with buyers. That's kind of a given. We all know that, right? But the reason I like a 50-50 based listing business is because no matter what the market does, shifts one way or another, I have a balanced based business. In our team, I'm proud to say we're roughly 51% listings and 49% buyers over the past 12 months with the amount of business that we do. I've been aiming at for years, and finally we're getting to the point where we're 50-50. And to me, that's a healthy based business. But however you want to do it, hey, that's completely up to you, no judgment. What I want you to understand, though, is a well-marketed listing should yield you a buyer escrow or a buyer under contract, which is what we call a 1-to-1 ratio. And that can increase with more active marketing and more active market in general. So you take a listing, you list it on the MLS, you have a for sale sign with some sort of text writer, sign writer, you do an effective open house, and then you circle prospect and market around it, or you do postcards of just listed. You're marketing multiple ways on one listing. If you do a decent job marketing that listing and working it effectively, you will get an additional lead that will buy or sell with you within 90 days when you work it effectively. So at a minimum level, if you do it effectively, you're going to do a 1-to-1 ratio, right? At the bottom, it says achieving your listings take-in goal should actually set you up to hit your buyer escrows and buyer closings. So the way that I look at it is if you lead with listings and you hit your listings take-in goal, right, which equals listings sold goal, and then you effectively work those listings, you'll get the buyer deals that you need to get as a result, and then you'll hit your total closed goal. And you want to track your production actively weekly. I've seen so many agents that I've coached, mentored, trained. They'll get excited. They'll set a goal at the end of the year for the following year, and that's it. They don't track it. They don't track it week over week, month over month. They don't see how they're doing. And they look up December of that year, 11 months have gone by. Oh my gosh, I've only listed 6 properties. My goal was to list 15. My goal was to close 20. I've closed 6, 7. They haven't tracked it. So the tracking gives you the opportunity to course correct in the moment on what you're doing that's working and what you're doing that's not. So you have an opportunity to improve. So I just want to give you an example of our team. And I only share this with you because this is how you should look at your goals. I know what goal that my team and I set when we set business planning. Our team did our business plan on October 28th, 2021. And as a team, I kept track of how many listings that we knew we had to take in order to hit our closed unit goal. So our goal for the year is 156 listings taken in Southern California with our team. Right now, year to date, as of a few days ago, we're at 41 listings. I think by tonight we'll be at 43 or 44, but we were at 41. So the way that I look at this is what's the goal versus the actual? We're 4.5 months into the year. So technically I'm 70% on goal, my team and I. How did I come up with that? 41 listings divided by 4.5 months. I probably did this 4 or 5 days ago, mid-May. So 4.5 months into it. So I divided 41 by 4.5. It gave me 9.1 listings taken per month. Okay. So we're on track to take 9.1 listings per month. That's times 12 months. We're on track to take 109 listings this year. Right. And then 109 divided by 156 equals 70%. It's super basic math. Now you have to know how many listings you want to take, how many homes you want to close, and what you're on track for. But it's important that you do these type of reviews month over month, week over week, so you know where we're at. We're obviously 30% behind on our goal. I know we started sluggish in the first 2 weeks of January. Then we picked it up and went bombastic from basically January 15th to February 15th. We took 20 listings on our team, or 21, slowed down a little bit, and then took another 15, and then took another 5. And now we're in a little bit of a slowdown phase, and now we're ramping back up again. I just know how my team ticks because I've been doing this for years. But the important thing is we know where they're at. The second thing is that I would want you to know where your listings are coming from. This is huge, right? So source of the listing, I just put ours because people ask us all the time when I do these types of training, hey, where are you getting your listings from? I just wanted to be able to show you. So when I did these numbers of 41 listings taken, here's where they've come from. So 13 listings taken have come from circle prospecting from our team. 10 have come from repeat past clients. 5 have come from agent referrals that I've received from my relationships across the nation. 4 have come from our sphere of influence, our friend, family, people that we know. We've received 3 listings taken referrals from our past clients and our friends. 4 have come from some sort of online source, which we'll talk about today. And then 2 have come from open houses. See, it's important to know where you're at with your numbers. It's important to know where your listings are coming from. So if you're doing really well at circle prospecting, keep it going. But if you're like, man, I thought I would have had 7 open house or 8 open house listings by now at this point, and I only have 2, man, we got to look at why we're not getting enough listings from open houses. See, data is important. Data tells you where you're at, where you're headed, and are you willing to do something to change that if you're not happy with that result? So let's get into the lead pillars. Okay, now let's have some fun over here. Data, goals, I get it. Now let's talk about the real aspect of it. Now that I have a mindset, now that I have goals, now how am I going to get these listings? So first and foremost, let's talk about circle prospecting, right? My team and I will take, based off the numbers, it looks like we'll take anywhere from 37 to 42 listings this year from circle prospecting. To me, that's really good. Running a business that we do. Last year, I think we only took like 12 or 13 from circle prospecting, but we'll triple, if not 3.5 times that this year. And I'll tell you why in a second. But here's the key thing that I want to be able to tell you. Once again, circle prospecting, imagine you pick a neighborhood, micro farm, around a listing that you've recently taken or a home that you've sold, and you're going to cold call that area with some sort of a dialer, Mojo, Vulcan, whatever your dialer is. We use Mojo. And you're going to call those individuals, and I'm going to talk about the scripts we use on our team and how we're successful in what we do. But here's the metrics that we operate by. My team and I, my agents, our standard is 150 dials a day or 750 dials per week. If my team members don't have at least 2 pendings going on at once, we want them to be dialing at least this amount. Last week, I pushed my agents hard. Some of them are on this call, so they'll laugh. We had some serious accountability on my team because I knew we had to pick up our activity. So last week, my team and I did 9,446 dials from Monday to Sunday night, which is healthy. That's above average of 750 dials per team. We knew that we had to pick up the pace because how the market is shifting. Hey, it's spring and summer. This is when people want to list their homes. So we have to do massive activity right now. Failure is not an option for us. The tactic is, like we talked about, circle prospect via Mojo, which is our dialer, with a circle prospecting script. And we use a variation of just sold and just listed. I'm actually going to show you the script on the next page, and I'm going to read it out loud so you understand what this looks like. The key thing is, at a minimum, you should set up 2 to 4 CMA calls per week. So I want you to write that down. I know I'm going to get you the slides, but I want you to understand what this is. This is probably the most powerful aspect of cold calling that people don't utilize at a high level, that I've seen at least, right? So when you call 750 people a week, what I want you to understand, when you dial 750, you're probably going to talk to the number that I've seen nationally, depending on time of day, is about a 10 to 15% talk to ratio. So you dial 750, you should talk to at least 75 people, conversations and contacts, right? Of those 75 contacts, there's 2 goals that I want you to have. Look at this line right here. It says 2 to 4 CMA calls per week, which I'll tell you what that is in a little bit. And then you're adding 5 seller nurtures to Brivity, which is our CRM that we use weekly. A CMA call is I'm literally going to book an appointment to talk to a homeowner face-to-face over the phone or on Zoom, and I'm just going to talk about the value of their home. That's it. Later in this training, I'm going to tell you what a CMA call entails and the power of it. But I'm going to book a couple basic appointments with these homeowners to talk about the value of their home. Next, I'm going to add these 750 dials, 75 conversations. I'm going to convert 5 to nurtures. What's a nurture? A nurture is somebody who's planning on selling their home in the next 3 to 36 months, in my opinion. Ideally, between 3 months and 18 months to me is a solid seller nurture. They're not ready to sell now. They're not 100% committed to another agent. They do have a motivation to sell, and you have all of their correct contact information, email, number, address, and you have a clear-cut time to follow up with them with their permission. 5 a week is what I would want you to add to the system at minimum, because think about this. When you do this correctly, you dial 750 people, talk to 75 a week, add 5 nurtures a week to the system. Now, there's 52 weeks in a year. Let's just say 2 full weeks you take off. I'm sure it's a little more, call it 2. That's 50 working weeks that we have. 50 times 5 is you're adding 250 seller nurtures to your database that you get to follow up with over time. And it's not about the first 6 months of doing this, not even about the first year of doing this. When you can do this consistently, year 2, 3, 4, you're building a consistent, predictable, seller-based business of the future. Now, the mindset I want you to have with this, though, is this is a nurture game, meaning you're adding future sellers and buyers of Brivity CRM and consistently following up until they are ready. This is the gold mine. And mind you, I did not even start circle prospecting at the level that we're doing this until 3 years ago when I partnered with Place, Ben Kinney, and Chris Suarez. Then I started because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a gold mine. Why am I not doing this? This is genius. I'm going to have a great compound effect. And this year we're having that compound effect. So the beautiful thing is that no one knows they'll be selling because you found out 3 to 24 months before they're actually doing anything. Rarely will they interview another agent or two when they're actually ready to sell, when you've built that relationship over time. That's why, to me, this is literally the gold mine of residential real estate. Now, lead pillars, let's get into it. Circle prospecting. So here's the script in itself. So the script is on the screen, but I'm going to tell you the basic intro of the script, okay? Well, good morning. This is Fred with Place, or Fred with Keller Williams. Yeah, the reason for my call is because I just listed your neighbor's home in the neighborhood on 123 Elm Street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, coming on the market this weekend. I'm asking $699,900, and I'm calling around to see who else in the neighborhood might be considering making a move into this great market. I completely understand. Who do you know that has considered selling or moving into your awesome neighborhood? Nobody? I completely get it. Out of curiosity, if you were to sell, when would that be? 1, 3, or 5 years? Are you aware of what your home is currently worth? Okay. Well, if you were to move, where would you move to? Okay, awesome. Well, when you're ready to make that move, I'd love the opportunity to interview for the job of selling your home. Is that a fair request? Okay, cool. I got a great tool that updates homeowners on who's moving in and out of the neighborhood that I can send you once a week or once per month. What's the best email for you? So it's a skeleton of a script that I want to find out. Do you know anybody that wants to buy this listing? Have they thought about selling the property or their property? Do they know what the home is worth? If they were to move, where would they go? It's a motivation question, right? And you're planting the seed that you want to have the opportunity to interview for the job of getting it sold. And then I want to send them home what's called a market report, which is what we have in our system in Brivity that updates them on property values. Once again, you'll get these slides, you'll get the script. Now, lead pillars, next is database. Your sphere of influence, your past clients, huge pillar. We love this. Everybody here automatically has this as an agent, right? In our world, you want to have at least 200 people from your database inside of the CRM you use. Once again, we use Brivity. The tactic is we want to call everyone with what we call a real estate related plan script, which I'm going to show you on the next page. The key thing is if your friends and family own a property, the question that we love to ask with our database, or honestly, anybody who owns a home, at what price are you a seller? At what price are you a seller? You want to make sure some sort of quarterly call auto plan is activated, which reminds you to call them every 90 days, or some sort of task in your CRM to make sure you're consistently talking to your VIPs and your past clients and friends and family. And then we use what's called the Ford script. So Ford is family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Here's the basic skeleton of a database call. Number one, when I call this person, a past client or a friend, I start with the Ford script. I talk about their family, their occupation, their recreation, their goals, and their dreams. Then I go into what's called the real estate related plans script, where I'm going to show you in a second. But if I talk to a database person, a friend of mine monthly, because they're a VIP, I'm not going to always ask them, hey, what's your real estate related plans in the next 12 months? I just talked to them last month. I'm not going to ask the same question. So in lieu of the real estate related plan script, what I would do if I ask them all the time, I don't want to ask them that. I'll just update them on the market. What's going on with rates? What's going on with the economy? So number one, Ford script. Number two, I bring up the real estate related plan script, or I talk about the market. And then number three, I ask for a referral. Who do you know that I should know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? That's my favorite question when it comes to asking for referrals. Who do you know that I should know that's thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? The mindset you want to have with this pillar is expect referrals and repeat business from these people. Also keep adding to your sphere of influence in your database as much as possible. You'll receive short-term and long-term results. And also remember, if you're not calling your database, someone else is. If you're not calling your friends and family and your past client, the neighborhood realtor is. The desperate realtors who have never cold called in their life are now cold calling, and they're talking to them. Zillow's talking to them. Redfin's talking to them. Open Doors talking to them. OfferBat's talking to them. If you're not talking to them, one of those individuals or companies are. Think about it from that standpoint. Here's the database script that we talked about, real estate related plans. Hey, John, this is Fred from the Fred Said Real Estate team. How are the kids? How you doing? Awesome. How's life? Job is good? Okay, perfect. Hey, real quick, I want to get into something with you. I'm looking to plan the rest of my year, and I was thinking about taking some time off in the summer, believe it or not. I wanted to call everyone that I've done business with in the past and see what their real estate related plans were for the year so I can make sure I don't schedule my vacation during times that my clients have real estate related needs. So John, do you have any real estate related plans for the year? Buying, selling, or investing? You don't? Hey, I completely understand. You know a lot of people that we do business with, know others who are thinking about buying or selling real estate. And I would love to get a hold of them as soon as possible to fit them into my calendar for the year. Can you think of anyone? Who do you know that's considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Of all the people you know, John, who's the most likely to buy or sell a home this year in today's shifting market? It's kind of the skeleton of the dialogue that I would want to have with a database person, right? Forward, real estate related plans, and then ask for the referral. Now let's get into online leads. Here's the key thing with online leads. When it comes to online leads, we'll talk about a script in a second. I believe I have LP Mama lined up for our next slide. A lot of people think about online leads and they think about buyers. I'm doing a 16-week buyer course for Forward Coaching right now. We're talking about lead conversion with buyers, systems, buyer consultation, lead pillars. And the one thing that people miss big time is the fact that you can generate seller leads, consistent seller leads when it comes to online leads, even online buyer leads. And I'm going to get into that and how we do that with one very important question. Speed to lead is the name of the game, so call them as soon as possible when you receive it. If you receive the lead directly from any source, make sure that you have some sort of auto plan in your CRM. Once again, my team and I use Brivity. We have a 10 days of pain. So a lead comes in from any source, it's inputted automatically, and then it activates an auto plan that has emails and texts that go out immediately, and then reminders for me to be able to call these people at certain times and days of the week. Buyer leads. Here's the key thing that people always miss. And I guarantee you, a lot of you guys generate buyer leads. You pay for them on Google, Facebook, Brivity leads, some of you guys, Zillow, Realtor.com, sign call, text calls, whatever. You have inbound leads that come your way that are buyers. And you ask the questions. But one question that a lot of agents miss, I know because I talk to them and I train them on this, ask them if they currently own a home or rent. It's one of the basic questions actually of LP Mama, which is one of the most well-known online buyer lead script in the nation, but a lot of agents don't ask it. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, hey, do you currently own a home or do you currently rent? Oh, you own a home. What are you planning on doing with that home? Well, we're not sure. We're thinking about renting it, selling it. Hey, what I'd like to do after we're done with this call is I'm going to ask for the address and I want to just run some comparables for you to see what it will look like to rent the house or sell the house. Would that be of value to you? Okay, awesome. What's the address? So ask the question so then you can dig deeper. If it's a seller lead that you generated online, right? Always close for the CMA call. Remember CMA, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but always close for an opportunity to talk about the value of their home. The mindset that I want you to have with this pillar is that this is an appointment-based mindset, meaning you want to generate as many appointments and consultations from these people as soon as possible. If they're 12 plus months away out from transacting, then they'd be considered what we call a nurture that you would then call every 90 days. If they're not planning on buying or selling for 12, 18, 24 months, it's probably not advantageous to be able to meet with them physically and do a consultation, maybe a Zoom call, but at least turn them into a nurture and then don't drop the ball on lead follow-up. Now, once again, this is LP Mama. I won't go too much into the script. I'm going to get you a copy, but this is primarily for buyer leads, right? LP Mama stands for location, price, mortgage, agency, motivation, appointment. Now, here's the part that I'm talking about people miss. Look at the script in the middle. It says motivation. Out of curiosity, are you currently renting or do you currently own a home? Back about 14 years ago when I started building WordPress websites before Zillow and all these things you can buy real estate, I was a solo agent, brand new. And I was starting in my career and I was generating 200 inbound leads a month. 150 were tenant leads because we had a big rental market then in Orange County, and 50 were buyer leads. But even with my tenant leads, I would use LP Mama and I would ask them, Mr. and Mrs. Tenant, do you currently own a home or are you currently renting? The bulk would say they're renting, but the ones that said that they were owning a home as a tenant, maybe they were doing a short sale because that's what the market was then. I listed 6 to 10 properties a year for 4 consecutive years from 2008 to 2012 from tenant leads because I asked this question. The vast majority were short sales. They were short selling their house back then, obviously, to move in because they were falling behind on payments. Now they had to go into a rental. But even in today's market, we're getting listings off of buyers as well when we ask these questions. Now let's talk about this whole conversation of CMA calls that we were talking about just now. CMA stands for comparative market analysis. Okay. The purpose of a CMA call is not only to discuss the value of their home, but also to discuss goals and motivation. Think about this for a second. Any lead you can generate anywhere. Imagine they're not 100% ready to list their home in the next 30 days. They might be ready in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. So this call is not for right now business. Right now, what would you book? You'd book a listing appointment, obviously. And at the listing appointment, you would talk about the CMA. This is not what that is. This is for homeowners that are not selling for 3 to 36 months, but they're going to in the future. So what I want you to do, and what works really well, is you set up an additional time, face-to-face, Zoom, right? Or a phone call, and spend 5 or 15 minutes talking about the value of their home. Every homeowner wants to know the value of their home. Everybody does. When you have a platform to discuss the value of their home, so many things can pop up. You get to deepen the relationship, ask further motivating question, discuss the goals of, if you were to sell this home for $800,000 in a year, where would you go next? Your goal is to discuss the market, solidify their motivation, become the real estate resource for them, and also find out at what price are they going to sell. If they're not ready to sell, then they'll become a solid seller nurture for you that you can follow with over time. If they are ready to sell, ladies and gentlemen, then you book the listing appointment. And here's a little trick. If you're going to a homeowner's house physically and you're going to do a full CMA call with them and talk about the value of their home, bring your listing presentation, bring your contract. I've had it many times in my career, believe it or not. I always come prepared. Even if I'm doing a walkthrough to talk about the value of the home, I bring everything with me. Because sometimes, not every time, after I talk to them about the value of their home, the condition of their home, they're like, hold on a second, you can get me this? And if I can get this, I can buy this? Well, then why would I wait? I don't know why you would wait. I actually have the contract today. Let's talk about a game plan of what it would look like. You have nothing to lose, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Hey, at minimum, if we put on the market and don't get the price, you don't have to sell. I'll be out some marketing and some time, and you'll be out some inconvenience. But what if I did get you the price that you were looking for? What if I did net you this? What if we could buy this? Then obviously, it can all make sense and it could all work. So that's what I'd like to propose today. See, I'm ready to go. I have the presentation. I have the contract. And in that situation, they're actually ready to go as well. So the key thing is making sure that you're ready to go, whether you think they're going to sell or not on a CMA situation. And then don't underestimate the power of a CMA call. Just don't do it. This is a slide that I have in any one of my trainings that I teach on. I try to throw it in as much as possible. And what I've realized in today's shifting market, my coach taught me something the other day, and some of you on this call have probably heard this statement before. In a fast-moving market like we've been in 2020, 2021, low inventory, high demand, crazy sales, we're so busy focusing on how things are going and how crazy the market is. We have gaps in our businesses, right? We have problems. They're just not coming to the surface in our peripheral vision because we're so busy running. But if the market is shifting like it is today, and it has been the past 90 days or so, the cracks that we're seeing in our business and the gaps that we're seeing, they're coming to light. It's not that they just showed up out of nowhere. They've always been there. But like I said, we've just been busy. Not that we aren't today, but we're more sensitive to what our business is today to make sure we still have a business 12 months from now, whatever the market does. One of the things that I've seen in my business and my team personally and friends and colleagues that I've talked to about this is our lead follow-up. Okay. And by lead follow-up, I mean understanding our technology, our CRM, we call Brivity, and do we know it really well? And are we allowing leads to slip through the crack? One of the ways that we don't allow that to happen in any market is by understanding this philosophy, internalizing it, and living by it daily. And that's fortunes in the follow-up. The statistics have never been more true. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Let me flip the script. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. And 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. Sometimes people tell me, Fred, this is always in your training. I've been to 30 of your trainings in the past 5 years, and this damn slide's always in there. I'm like, it's going to be in the next 5,000s of my trainings as well. Why? Because we as salespeople need to always stamp this permanently in our brains. Even I do to this day. All of us do. And in this market today, we have to be following up like an absolute maniac. We got to be more aggressive than ever before. We have to. This is critical. Okay. Now let's talk about technology. I keep talking about Brivity. I know half the call is place-based. You guys know Brivity. Half the call is Southern California agents. Maybe they've heard of Brivity. But Brivity is our CRM. Whatever CRM y'all use is fine, outside of Place, obviously. But you have to understand that the right technology will actually help you take listings. One concept we've talked about is auto plans. Auto plans is a plan you set inside your CRM that automatically activates text and emails and does things for you. You have to have the right CRM that will help you convert the leads upfront that you received. Completing your to-dos. So inside of a CRM, whether you do a manual task to call somebody in 2 weeks or an automatic one from an auto plan, you have to complete your to-dos. You actually have to complete the to-dos that your CRM reminds you to do the day that you're supposed to. I have some of my team members here today, and they know one of my pet peeves is past dues. Every single day, my team gets a transparent email to all 20 plus people that says every agent's name and how many past due tasks they have on that given day. So whether they are ashamed by it or embarrassed by it or whatever, I don't care. I want everybody to know on my team transparently where they're at with to-dos, because we got to get them down. But making sure you do the to-dos when you're supposed to do them is critical to your consistent listing taking ability. You can't do and take consistent listings if you're not consistently calling your leads and following up. It's physically impossible. So market reports are huge, and we love them in Brivity. Having a CRM that keeps your sellers in front of you at all time and not going to Zillow, Redfin, anywhere else to find out the value of their home. It's my favorite tool within Brivity. I don't know if other CRMs have it, for those of you that are not with Place right now, but for us, we love this system and it works out extremely well. So bottom line of what we talked about, then I'm going to get into Q&A. So hang tight with your questions. A strong mindset will lead to strong results. Don't underestimate the power of setting and tracking goals. Have at least 3 lead gen pillars around taking listings and working each system we talked about today, or whatever system you may have that we did not talk about today. Fully understand why they say fortunes in the follow-up. And CMA calls are powerful when they are done right. Once again, here's my cell phone, my information. If you need me at any time, hit me up. Love the opportunity to talk with you about your business. So I'm going to flip it over to Q&A. So if you do have a question, for the sake of, we have 100 plus people on the call, if you can go to the bottom where it says reactions and then press raise your hand, I would love to answer any questions that you all have. Let's go with Mateo, first hand up.
Super quick question. So you told us that the slides and the scripts were going to be available to us. Where would we be able to find them?
So did you sign up via Eventbrite? Is that how you did it?
Yes.
Cool. So we have the Eventbrite list. Within 24 to 48 hours, we're going to send an email with the recording of what we did today and with the slides attached to it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. What else?
Fred, one of the first questions when you first started, when you were calculating goals, what months are you counting? Because some people were asking why it wasn't 5.5 and some were asking why you were at 4.5. Are you counting December?
Well, great question. So what I did is right now our team has taken 41 listings year to date. April is 4 full months, right? And when I did this, I did it in mid-May. So only half of May has happened so far. So 4.5 months in the year. So imagine January 1st to May 15th, unless I did it incorrectly, I don't think I did, is 4.5 months. So I divided 41 listings taken, divided by 4.5, that gave me 9.1 listings. So our average up until a couple days ago is we're averaging 9.1 listings taken a month. I multiply that by 12 months, and that gave me 109 listings we're on track for, I believe. And then I divided that back into 156, and that means we're 70% of the goal. Brendan.
Hey, when did you start the CMA calls, and what did that training look like for your
my gosh.
team?
We started them, and I won't forget it. I won't forget it. It changed my life. I started in April of 2020, 3 weeks into COVID. Lockdown was still in effect, by the way. I did it because I generated, so I have an investment business as well in Southern California. So we buy, fix, and flip properties. And my business partner at that time, John, who's still my business partner, he generated some data for us for off-market sellers, just some cold calls, some texts, whatever. He's a data genius, right? So I got on the phone with this homeowner who owned 2 properties in Southern California. She lived at a state. I couldn't enter the property. They were tenant occupied. So I literally had to figure out, I'm like, and COVID is going on, so we couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't leave my garage, which is my home office at that time, right? So I had to get on a Zoom call with her. Then I had to be able to discuss the value of her home. Then I had to discuss what it would look like to go on the market, or if I bought the properties from her, depending on what she wanted to do. I did all of that in 15 minutes. And then I coined it a CMA call. And then I did it 45 times more in the next 45 days. And we took like 7 listings. I bought 4 properties, and then I nurtured the rest for the next to this day. I'm like, what the heck did I just fall upon? It's not like it's a new concept. We've all done CMA calls, but thinking of it from a strategic standpoint and having a goal at doing a certain amount and then having a certain dialogue around it, that's key. I did a training for Place internally around CMA calls probably a month or 2 ago somewhere, and it's on our private Facebook page. Brendan, if you want to find it and find the recording, it's on there somewhere. I just don't know. Maybe Christina, if she's on this call, I'm not sure she still is or not, she might be able to tag in it on the Facebook page. Cool. What else? Yes, sir, Miami.
Sir, thank you for your time. Good seeing you and great
Likewise.
content. I wanted to ask you, how do you encourage your agent partners to really embrace the process and fall in love in this delayed gratification? Because circle prospecting it is a marathon. It's not like you mentioned, calling expires the same day we meet with them. So can you share with us, how do you really encourage them to believe the process, please?
That's a good question. Really good question. So I talk about it daily. I talk about it weekly. And then I show that there are results within the system. And for those that are partners with me, that stay with me more than 6 months, we have an 80% retention rate in our team, which is awesome. Unfortunately, the partners that don't stay with us, they're just not cut out to hit the phones at a high level, and it's not the path that they want to be on from a career standpoint. But the ones that do naturally see results. So it's just a matter of just showing them the results, showing them the system, showing them how they can go about it, and seeing that the incremental results they're getting are powerful. So yeah, getting a listing is great. But if like, man, I just generated a nurture, man, I just had a CMA call. Wow, this was really good. You have little wins along the way, pushing them to get little wins along the way. And then the big win, which is a listing taken. And then obviously something closed and getting a paycheck. So talking about it consistently is huge, showing them the little wins along the way, and then following a method to the madness that works. Exactly. Cool. Good question. That was really good. Mr. Ralph.
Hey, Fred. I have a follow-up question to, I believe it was Brandon, about the CMA call.
Yeah.
Are these always calls, or are they sometimes meetings like face-to-face?
There's 3 ways to do it that I've done. There's no other way, actually. There's a call on the phone, Zoom, like we're doing right now, and I can share my screen, show the comps, or it's face-to-face. As long as it's close by, and obviously now we're fairly past COVID to a certain degree from a comfort zone standpoint with homeowners and consumers, I really would prefer face-to-face. If I know that they're selling within 3 to 24 months, I want to go shake their hand. I want to go walk their property. I want to go tell them what to declutter and what touch-ups to do and what their home is worth. That's the most powerful. Obviously, if it's an hour and a half away or they live out of state, Zoom is the next preferred. Rarely do I really want somebody to do a Zoom call or CMA call via cell phone. Good question. Yeah, like Vicky just said, make sure you have all the decision makers in the call or Zoom. Even if it's just a CMA and not a listing appointment, if you can have all the decision makers, for example, husband and wife, and they can both be there, that would make the process more convenient and effective and have an opportunity to be able to convert to a real appointment in the future. Shannon.
Hello, I have a question about circle prospecting. Once we get a hold of, let's say, 15 people in one day, that's happened to me for circle prospecting. And which ones are you actually putting in Brivity that would make sense to spend time on and ensure that they get something from you on a regular basis? If they were like they listened to you and hung up on you, I consider that a contact, but at the same time, which ones am I actually following up with? I do send out thank you cards once if they picked up the phone and listened to me, I send them thank you cards, but past that, I don't know how many of those I should be putting in Brivity.
It's a really good question. If they're listening to you and hanging up, they're not even a nurture to me, just pass. People that I would add to Brivity as a nurture for the future are the ones that you've had a two-way conversation with, you've obtained, and they're okay with you sending them a market report, setting up a CMA call, or at minimum following up in the future to update them on the market. There's some sort of permission to keep in touch in one way or another. To me, that's some sort of a nurture, and I would add them to the database and then have a follow-up plan thereafter. But the ones that just you talk to and they hang up, no, I wouldn't add them. I wouldn't waste my time. Good question. Gilbert team, somebody raise their hand. He's running.
What's up, Fred?
What's going on?
Question for you, man. So, of course, since we do in place, we're doing more circle prospecting, a lot more door knocking and things like that. One of the pillars you mentioned was online listing leads. Of course, we know the tools and stuff that we get through Brivity, but sort of what, if you had to use your team's budget to buy online seller leads, where would you allocate that budget, and what would be your approach to those leads?
So one thing that I would do is number one, any buyer-based leads that you generate, you can generate seller listings off of it when you ask the question if they currently own or they currently rent. Number two, what I would do is I would spend money with Brivity and I would generate home valuation leads. Now you can do it through Brivity. Those of you that are not in Brivity in Southern California, you can generate home value leads through Brivity independently through their platform or through other sources as well. So those individuals that are wanting to know what the value of their home is worth, and if you're already trained on how to do a CMA call, you're generating homeowners that want to know the value of their home. Those are good leads as well. Any other resource from a lead standpoint that's paid is difficult to find. I've looked at different sources. Now there are referral-based companies out there like OpCity, Dave Ramsey, right? Ojo, that may have seller leads as well. Those are anywhere from 25 to 35% referral fees. You can look into some of those systems as well and Google referral-based real estate companies to see if you want to do it. But obviously they come at a hefty price. You don't have to pay a fixed cost, which is nice for your profit and loss and your expenses monthly, but you do got to pay at closing, unfortunately. Cool. Awesome. What else?
You did have a few asking for your first 5-second intro on your scripts to capture attention. So what are you doing on your seller script, your buyer script to get people to stay?
So number one, let's talk about sellers. You're going to get a copy of the Circle of Prospecting, but I'm glad whoever asked this question. This is huge. Here's a problem we live in. Here's a society we live in. My phone is sitting face down on silent. I only looked at it a couple of times to make sure I'm valuing your time, but I already know that I have probably 2 or 3 robo-based sales texts. I probably have received so far 15 to 18 robo calls on my cell phone, right? And I'm block number, block number, block number, block number, right? I'm sure you can attest to that, right? That's the world we live in. So people are like, who is this random phone number? I may or may not pick up the call, just the world we live in. So your introduction has to be powerful. Your tonality has to be awesome. You got to be standing up like I am right now. You got to be smiling where you can. Ring, ring. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, my name is Fred with Keller Williams. Hey, I'm giving you a call. I just listed your neighbor's property on 123 Elm Street down the street. Such an awesome house coming on the market on Saturday. It's going to fly off the market. Hey, I know you're down the street. I promised my neighbor or my owner to call you and all the neighbors to tell everybody about it. Hey, do you have a friend or a family member that wants to become your neighbor? Like I come out the gates with something. Now, when it comes to seller calls or circle prospecting, you can do a straight cold call. Ring, ring. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, my name is Fred with Keller Williams, and I wanted to know at what price would you want to sell your home? Right off the bat. One of my agents have been doing that the past couple weeks, and it's working. Ring, ring. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Fred with Keller Williams, and I want to know at what price would you sell your home? That catches their attention, I would think. The other version is, ring, ring. Hey, is this John? Hey, John, this is Fred with Keller Williams. Have you thought about selling your home in the next 12 months? Not as catchy. Or what I told you earlier when I said the just listed or just sold, that catches their attention because you're talking about something that matters to them. A home like theirs that just listed or just sold, well, what did it sell for? What are you listing it at? Is my value going to go up? Is my value going to go down? That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Did I answer that right, Lindsay? Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes, I think so.
right,
They just wanted to make sure that you were capturing attention within that first 5 seconds.
But remember, I'm not sitting on a chair down here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. My couch is so comfortable. I'm going to make lead gen calls. No, I'm standing up. I feel good. I'm pounding water, right? I'm smiling and I'm dialing. To me, unenergetic lead generation or lead follow-up is just as good as not making calls at all. At least the results that I've seen with people that I've coached and mentored. Okay, cool. We got a little bit of time. Any more questions, comments, ahas, anything that I can answer for y'all at the moment? Okie dokie. Yes, Neil? No?
I was going to be a comment and I was just going to say you're awesome and it's good to see you again.
Likewise. How you been? Good?
We've been good. Quasi and I over here switched to the Path Home team in Denver and we're just rocking and rolling.
Is the Denver market still low? Inventory?
Finally, for the first time when I log on to the MLS, there's a little over 5,000 homes on there.
Is that good or bad?
Good, especially when, we were logging on and there'd be 1,200 listed properties.
Got it. Well,
including multifamily and all that. So starting to see the shift like we were talking about earlier.
Yep, we'll see it. Just everybody implement what we talked about today. Do it consistently, you'll be fine. Those of you that are non-place members and are in Southern California, you have my contact information. If I can ever be of resource to you, set up a free coaching call and talk about your business in the next few months. Call me anytime. And Danny, any mailers? Yes, we send out mailers. We're starting again this month post-COVID, but we're only sending our mailers to our database, like our friends, family. We're sending them a just listed, just sold postcard. We're not farming into a community. We're mailing our existing past clients' sphere of influence. So we have an additional touch that we hit them with. Cool. Well, we got a minute left. I appreciate y'all joining. If you have any questions, let me know and tune in. We'll have another Southern California regional training in about 60 days. And then place, as always, I'll be able to see you guys monthly. So.
Hey, Fred, can you hear me? It's
Thank you.
Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy, go for it.
Hey, just real quick on those mailers, you're sending them to your database. Are those only your Mets in your database, like your Sphere and your past clients, you said?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's actually what we call our VIPs. So like each of my agents, like we have 200 agents times 200 people times 20. What is that? 4,000 people. So we have 4,000 Sphere and past clients potentially within our team. Of those people, I told every one of my agents to pick no more than 50 VIPs, like top friends, top past clients, referral partners at a max, right? So that gives us 1,000 people that we can mail to monthly that are in our database that know us, like us, and trust us. I don't have a copy of the mailer right now. We just ordered it yesterday and it's being sent out, but it's literally like a 6x8. It has one just sold on the front, 2 just listed on the back, a QR code that takes them to our landing page to get their home value, a phone number that they can call, and a call to action that says we're never too busy for your referrals. And our entire team picture with 20 of us on there, so that when I send it to Vicky's database, they see Vicky's face on there, for example.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to ask you about that because that's important. So real quick, on that mailer, do you put a quickly code at all?
No, good call.
Okay.
I might, I don't though, not yet.
And do you send out a newsletter?
We do
Um,
monthly via email.
Okay, that's what I
BombBomb.
wanted
We
to
do it via BombBomb.
Do you do a video in there?
Yes.
Oh, fun. like
Yeah,
that.
I do a 90-second video on just updating them on the market in Southern California the previous 90 days, and then a big old newsletter with just listed, just sold, landing pages, home valuation requests, reviews, events coming up, trainings coming up, all that.
But events and trainings, and that goes to your database? Or your
Yeah, well,
VIPs?
whether I'm having a investment seminar for my database, if I'm having some sort of a client event coming up, et cetera, yeah, we are.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
I do a separate newsletter, and some of you guys actually might get them. I do a separate newsletter for agents in Southern California, agents that are friends of mine across the nation. And I do a training
Okay.
video and content there, and then I promote agent trainings that we do.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Appreciate
My
you so
pleasure.
much. Excellent.
Anytime. Cool.
All right,
You guys good?
bye.
101. Hey guys, have a great day. Appreciate you. I'll see y'all soon. Take care. Bye.